This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with Willo Gentlemen. We're glad to say we're joined with Ireland's newest professional boxer, Willo Hayden. How are you, mate?
All good.
You're just obviously, 11 days since you made your professional debut in Kilcatchy Woodstock in Birmingham. Does it feel great that now things are underway and you can now call yourself a pro boxer?
I am delighted. I was happy with my performance now and really enjoyed the camp and all leading up to the fight. But just raring to go again for the next one. Like, that's only the start of it. Like, I know where we could improve from the last time and stuff.
It obviously, I know your fight was uploaded to YouTube the other day. Sometimes in boxing, you get given a relatively easy task where you blow someone away in 30 seconds. You were given a good opponent that was there to stick around for 6 rounds and probably annoyed you at times because he was just bulletproof nearly, you know, no matter what you hit him with. He was there to stand and fight, and 6 rounds will do you the world of good as you start off.
Yeah, he was a tough lad. Like, he had 30 fights in the last 3 years, and he's only ever been stopped once by a cut. So, like, it was a doctor stopped it as well. Like, so listen, I knew he was going to be a hard lad to get out of there, and I wasn't really focused now on trying to get him out there. Like, that was never what I was going in trying to do. I was more just trying to show off, like, you know, that I changed over well as a pro. Like, so I was going to aim to go to 6 rounds and just win every round, and just like show people like that I'm not all guns blazing. You know what I mean? Because that's what usually amateurs are like starting off, especially then because they had 6 rounds to do. It's a big difference from what I'm used to. Like, now doing 3 trays. So I was trying to, you know, maintain my energy, like, because I don't know what it's like getting up off the stool after 3 rounds. You know what I mean?
And it's something that you haven't really prepared for. I know you didn't have like a senior sort of career. It was more of the sort of junior sort of levels, and then the pandemic hit and probably, you know, I'll sort of touch on that, but obviously it forced your hand. But when was the last time you'd boxed before your pro debut? Was it 2019 probably?
My last fight was under 18s. It was 20 months ago before COVID hit. Like, so, you know, it's a long time being out of the ring. Then especially changing over into a completely new game. Like, but I'm just delighted to be back now. Like, hopefully be kept busy then this year.
And have you found that changing from amateur boxing to professional boxing, that there's a lot needed to change in the mindset and obviously plans and tactics, or is it just pretty much getting in there and obviously showcasing your skills as you always do?
I don't think it's as different as what people make it out to be, like, to be honest with you. Like, obviously you're fighting more rounds, so you have to be fitter, you have to be ready to go them extra rounds, like, but the aim of the game is still the same. Like, don't like hit your opponent more than you get hit yourself. Like, so it's the same in that way, but obviously the opponents I'm getting in with are completely different to what I'd be boxing when I was a junior. Like, like the lad there that I was in with, like, he took some shots off me, like took some body shots and all. He was well able to survive the 6 rounds. Whereas someone my age that was boxing now 2 years ago, like, just wouldn't be able to take that.
And even in that as well, you'd probably get, you know, that not discrediting your opponent from your debut, but you would have probably had more punches coming back at a higher level, sort of, you know. So it's getting used to you being the one in control and throwing most of the punches and not getting hit back. And you know, it's that way changing the mindset, I guess, and more than anything. But they say that the aim's still the same: hit more than you get hit and win the fight.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
like, honestly, I nearly.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, I nearly prefer to fight someone who engages with me. That way, now I can hit them. I can see openings and all and catch them out and stuff. So it was a bit different, like, now going chasing someone who's not really engaging with me, but who's still able to just take all the shots. Like, especially then in amateurs, if someone was to do like box like that, they'd be getting standing on 8 counts and stuff. But obviously in pro, that's not a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess the journeyman sort of tag, you know, to say he's fought over 30 times in the last few years as well. His aims to survive so he can potentially fight next week and things like that. So, like, I know journeymen get discredited sometimes.
Out 2 weeks after.
Yeah,
he was actually out 2 weeks after he was. It's crazy.
It's like they're battles to survive, but they're smart in a way that they know what punches they avoid, so they don't go down, so they don't get cuts. So in my view,
Yeah.
the journeyman's probably a specialist tool that probably a lot of them can't get the fundamentals of, and then they end up getting a cut or getting stopped, and then they're out for a month. So, the good thing for him is he survived. He can say in years to come that obviously he boxed you, and obviously he's helped your development as well, As I like to do, Willo, with anybody I bring on for the first time, I sort of like to go right back to sort of when it started. So, what age did you first start out boxing, and why did you get into boxing?
I started boxing when I was 8, and but before I started boxing, I was in SPG. I was doing MMA.
Mm-hmm.
I started that when I was 6, and then I went over to boxing then when I was 8, and I was doing it kind of at the same time for a while. Mm-hmm. But I was getting much more action in boxing, like I was getting proper spars. I was able to hit other kids and stuff, so I was mad for that. I was like, yeah.
And with the mixed martial arts sort of thing, you always have to have the boxing and things like that in it. Was it a case that you went to try the boxing to implement the skills in the MMA and then thought,
it actually was, that's what it was originally. But like when I was doing like MMA, all you really do with that age kind of grapple and stuff, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But when I was able to go to boxing then and have proper spars, like I much preferred it. I was getting a lot more action, like.
And was it something you sort of took to relatively easy? Like I know in your amateur career over 300 fights and what you talk about 10 years. So I guess obviously your plan was to get as many fights as possible.
Yeah, that's what I enjoyed doing. Like them 300 fights now. Obviously, like I don't have 300 fights on my card. Like that's just from club shows and all that. Like Phil was throwing Thursday shows he was every week. I was getting 2 fights on that show and stuff, like the fight one after the other, like. So I just the more fights I could get, the better. Like I just love being in the ring, love fighting. Like
it seems to be a sort of, I think it's changed in boxing. Obviously, most people nowadays move into pro boxing and they maybe only have 100 fights. I had Wayne McCulloch on for an interview the other week, and I think he had 100 fights by the time he was 12. That's the old sort of way that you get used to preparing for Olympics and things like that. Whereas nowadays it's as little fights as possible to get to the finish line. And them 300 fights, obviously, whether they're on your record or not, there's still experience. It's going to stand you in good stead for professional boxing.
Yeah. Sorry, someone's after walking in there.
To throw you off. All the fights you've sort of had so far have sort of put you in good stead now that you become a pro boxer.
Yeah, like after I fought so many different opponents and stuff. So like different styles and stuff, you adapt to it. Like that's actually one thing that I'd say really stands for me, like that I'm able to adapt to different opponents. Like I wouldn't go in to fight someone with any sort of like tactics, like I'm gonna fight this way for the whole fight. Like I go in and I expect anything. Especially when you boxed at the level I boxed. Like when you go to your Europeans, like boxing Russians and stuff, they'll be coming out for the second round completely different to how they box in the first round. Like if you find a shot that works for you and that you're beating them on, they'll come out and you have to find something else. Like you have to be able to do that every second of the fight, nearly. So obviously getting so many fights against so many different styles of people, that helps you big time with that. Like.
And boxing all around the world against people from different countries, it only stands you in good stead for, what's to come in the pros as well, like Russians, Americans, every sort of country will sort of box against, and you go, I've boxed somebody from there before, I'll know what they expect, as a sort of general basis, and then you can take it as it goes in the fight.
I think it's a bit of a confidence booster as well, knowing that like you've been in with the best. Like already, I'd never boxed as a senior, but I boxed the best in the world at my age, and now I was able to beat them and all. Like I was well up there with them. So when I'm going, I'm starting off from scratch now. I'm starting from square one as a pro, but I know that the level of boxers I was in with, I'm much better than what I'm fighting now. Just that the lads are tougher. Like that's the only thing.
And talk to me obviously about your experiences as an amateur. I know you're an 11-time Irish champion. What other achievements did you have as an amateur?
I have a junior European gold medal. I won that when I was 15. I have 45 fights on my Irish card. I only got one loss, but I think like 30% of them were stoppages, like by body shots as well. So that's something that would be like a signature with me, like body shots, and that transfers over to pro so well, like especially with these journeymen because they can take headshots all day. But yeah, so definitely body shots gonna be kind of like that'll be my thing now going into as a pro. Like.
And I know Paddy Donovan obviously fought in the Fela here in Belfast last month. I think 70% of his stoppages were body shots in amateur, and it was all a left hook to the body, and that's what he finished with in the Fela. And you're going, I prepared for that all my life. I know how to throw it, where to put it, and what the damage is going to do. So
yeah,
if you can stop people to the body, then obviously the head's going to fall as well.
Yeah, exactly. I noticed actually with my opponent, like I was hitting him heavy down to the body, but he was making it awkward for me. Like I had obviously a good journeyman guard, you know what I mean? It was hard to get in at the body, but I noticed in the later rounds then his hand was starting to drop a little bit. Like I could see his ribs were a bit bruised looking.
And I'd like to say it's one of them things. If you're like probably one of the most renowned boxers in probably UK and Ireland probably over the last 20 years is Ricky Hatton, and obviously his signature move was his body punches. So it'd be a good person to obviously blend your style against it. That you become the new version of Ricky Hatton. And stopping people with body shots.
Yeah.
So I guess in some ways for a lot of people, the pandemic obviously has forced a hand for a lot of people. For you, obviously, it then meant that you, with no senior experience, an opening happened that you decided to go pro. How did the move to pro boxing come about?
I never really planned on going pro as young as I did. Like I did always want to go like to the Olympics and stuff. But come like as I got a little bit older, I was thinking, all right, the Olympics might be too old, like going for. But I was thinking I'd love to at least get a senior title, represent Ireland, get like a Europeans, Worlds or something like that. But obviously with the pandemic, then I missed my first shot. What would have been my first shot as a senior, like going for the elites. Like I was training for that while I was like over in Portugal with McGregor. So Phil was over there doing pads with us. We were doing training twice a day. I was absolutely buzzing to get in. And then it got announced while I was over there that was getting called off. And so like that sickened me now a bit. But I had now Andy O'Neill, he's my cut man. He was on to me saying telling me like he could get me signed with good promoter and stuff, and he was explaining to me all the crown rates and all that like. So he made it very clear for me then, and I was giving that more thought, and then he put me onto someone from Queensbury, and then it was the two of us were like directly in contact with each other, and that like just pushed things forward. And like there's no turning back then. Like it just felt right.
And how did they? I know quite a few Irish boxers have sort of got to train with Conor and things like that in the past. Obviously with Tiernan Bradley and Conor Wallace, that obviously have been out and helped camp, because boxing is obviously one of the fundamentals of MMA. And obviously Conor in younger years would have obviously boxed and things like that in the past. How did you find the experience of obviously an Irish superstar and Conor McGregor? How did you find, I guess in some ways, his experience of obviously how he's made it, a multimillionaire in the sport, but in some aspects, your experience of obviously being a really good boxer has sort of helped him hand in hand as well?
Yeah, like the whole thing was amazing. Like it was some experience. Like it was kind of hard to take in. Like we'd be going down to the gym and all, and then next minute you have Conor walking in, and they're saying, "Oh, what's up?" You know what I mean? Before training, it was just crazy. Like, because that's someone I'm watching on the TV for years. Like since I was a kid, that'd be one of my role models. And now he's just working into the gym like anyone. You know what I mean? But I think it really puts things like, it makes everything seem realistic. Like he's from the same area I'm from. He boxed out the same club I boxed in, and now he's one of the biggest like sports stars like in the world. And like just being around him, and stuff like that. Like, it just puts things into like, it makes everything seem like like in my reach. Like there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to get a world title or something like that down the line. Like, if I put my head down, obviously, and work for it, like, because that's what he done, and he went all the way, surpassed that. Like, he's in legendary status now.
It's one of them things.
Yeah.
It's when somebody from your own area achieves it, not like, if you use, say, for instance, Floyd Mayweather as a role model, he's not from your same area. You don't know sort of the vision and how he's got to where he is. Whereas with Conor McGregor, you can see somebody from your same area has done it, so it can be repeatable.
Yeah.
So it makes it more real.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It just shows that, like, the area is not holding you back. Like, there's no reason why I couldn't do it. Like, it's been done before.
And with Conor, I guess one of Conor's traits obviously was the fact that he was a legend when it come to selling fights, press conferences and things like that. Is it something that you'll sort of prepare for it with your own stamp on, or some boxers like to just use their talents in the ring? Some obviously like to build the fights up. Have you sort of an idea of how it will play out for yourself?
Yeah, I think that's something that, like, now you'll develop. I'll know now if that's the way I am when it gets to that stage where I'm fighting for titles and stuff, and you need to build up fights. But as of now, like, I'm just focusing on my boxing. Like, I'm switching over. I'm just that's my main concern for now. Like, but obviously that's kind of nearly half the battle now, though, isn't it? Being able to promote fights and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's all, I know that the Paul brothers got loads of stick for, their ability in boxing and things like that, but they can sell a fight, they can get an audience,
exactly.
and that's the main thing nowadays. Crumlin Boxing Club, talk to me about there's obviously quite a few boxers. It's nearly a resurgence in Crumlin Boxing Club with Phil. I'm sure it's a great place to be with so many pros about at the moment that you can learn off each other.
Yeah, it's great. Like, we have a good few lads down now, and they're all busy as well with the fights. Look, I'm actually going up. One of the lads at the club, Kane Doyle, he's fighting now, and I'm going up to see him. We have Robert Burke then. He's the fight coming up too. But it's great because Phil has us all down, like, doing morning sessions. We're all getting one-on-one then with him, and we're schooling with each other. But then there's top lads coming down sparring us then. Like, I think Wayne Kelly was down last week. You had Fergus Quinn was coming down sparring the lads as well. Like, so it's great that it's attracting, not only we have our own good lads, it's attracting other pros from around the country. Like,
and I guess it's good when everybody's coming along at the same sort of level, at the same time. It just means you can grow off each other. And I'm always a believer of success breeds success. So once obviously the first major success comes for the gym, someone gets to a world title or somebody picks up a really decent belt, everybody else will follow.
Yeah.
And how
so you can say that. Can say it again.
Yeah, so I was saying that whenever success breeds success, so when someone obviously picks up a major title within the gym, someone else will want to copy it, and it'll be repeated very quickly.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it encourages you big time. Like, when one of the lads that you're training with is after going off and doing something. But yeah, it's being surrounded by like-minded people, like, on the same sort of journey as yourself. You know what I mean?
Definitely, and it's obviously looking like.
I'm glad that.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Like, I'm glad we have a few pros now because like 2 years ago there wouldn't have been really any pros in the club. Like, so if I turned over, then I would have been the only one. But it's good saying that there's lads like me now, do you get me?
Yeah, exactly, and that'll help.
And then they were like, I was getting advice off them then for the debut and stuff, because obviously, like, the debute's completely new experience. But, like, Jay Kenny and all was talking to me beforehand, saying, listen, you're going to be having mad things going through your head, and, like, all these possibilities and ifs and buts and stuff. He said, listen, just clear your head, go in to enjoy it. Like, you're going to win it. You've boxed better people than this your entire life, so just go in, enjoy the experience. I only have one debut, so that's the way I went in. Thanks to the advice from all the boys I have around me who've done a lot before, Like I went in, no nerves whatsoever. Just went in to enjoy the fight. Like
Yeah, exactly. And it stands in good stead. I guess you're always waiting for someone in the crowd to shout, hit him, knock him out. You always get the random
yeah,
things,
exactly. Yeah,
and it brings you back to life. But you're sort of going, I just feel like I'm in the gym again. Somebody shouting, hit him. Some random guy in the crowd that you don't know will be looking at you to throw an uppercut or a right hook. He'll be telling you how to
yeah.
fight in the ring.
So you just have to get in the call there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like it does it kind of brings you back a bit, like when you hear people shouting in. But I had a great crowd coming over from the club. I think I had 30 from the boxing club went over. So like I could hear all their voices, like I could make out the voices while I was fighting and stuff. And it just makes you like feel comfortable. Like it's like sparring back in the club or something, knowing that the same crew was there watching me, like, and shouting in, and I was something else. Like, I was delighted with the crowd that went over.
And you'll never probably forget your pro debut as well. It's one of them. It's in the memory bank now. You'll always remember.
It
I made my
is,
pro debut
yeah.
in Birmingham.
Yeah, I know, 100%. I already know that I won't forget it. Like,
you're a man in demand here. They're trying to ring you flat out. How active has Frank then promised to keep you? Is it more the case of when you're ready to fight that you'll get a fight?
He plans on keeping me very busy this year. It'll be like a minimum of 4 fights I'll be looking at each year. But Frank's hoping. He said to me now he's hoping to get me out 6 times a year. Like, he wants to build up that experience fast. But that suits me to a T. Like, now, if I could be out in 2 weeks' time, I'd be up for that. Like, I'm just dying to get back in the ring. I want to be kept as busy as possible. Like,
it's that buzz is there now, and you want to get back in. And you're only 19 yet, so you're in no rush to be pushed. Or do you have the hunger? I guess sometimes with certain boxers, you get the hunger to progress quickly. We're seeing the likes of Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson, who are very early in their 20s and already world champions.
Yeah.
Is it something that you're I guess as time will pass as to how quickly you progressed?
Yeah, like, listen, I have a great team around me that they'll be like my advisors. Like, I have my dad, obviously, is like, he's with me 24/7. You know what I mean? He does all the thinking and talking for me. Like, then I have all the boys then at the club. I have Philip, Andy O'Neill. But as of now, I'm just fighting the people that Frank puts in front of me. Like, he's obviously looking to get world titles out of me. It benefits both of us. But he has experience. He's done it all before. So, like, whatever the lads of, like, Queensbury think, you know what I mean? I'll just do what I'm told. I'll beat the lads that they put in front of me. So I'm not rushing anything. Like, I'm not looking at any big names yet or anything. Like, I'm just gonna do what I'm told. Like, but I think my talent will speak for itself.
Trust the process, and the process will deliver.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Has Connor been involved with much? I know with you helping with sparring and things like that. Has been passing on any good advice to you on how to prepare properly and probably how to make as much money from the game as possible?
He's been in contact with us. He's been in contact with Philip as well. But they just wish me the best of luck and stuff like that. But like, I got sponsored by the Black Forest there. You can see it on the top and all. But yeah, he gave me a big hand with the sponsorship. Like, that's obviously his public.
And is that where the Black Magic song comes from in Andy's Instagram videos? And is that all to do with the Black Forge?
I don't know. There does be a new song every week with him. That I wouldn't look too deep into that. There is.
He was on the phone to me earlier, and I was surprised he wasn't singing down the phone. Andy's a great man. Obviously, you fought super lightweight as your debut. Is that going to be the weight you're going to campaign at, or is obviously the plan to come down further?
Yeah, well, listen, I made that weight easy. Well, I weighed in like a pound under my weight, but to be honest with you, it wasn't as easy as it looked to have been made. Like, I was cutting down my weight weeks before the fight. Like, I knew I'd be boxing at light welter, so I was walking around at 65 2 weeks before it. But that didn't come easy. Like, there was serious cutting down. Was counting my calories like every day. Training twice a day. You know what I mean? So I made it look easy, but that's just because I didn't leave the last minute. Like, it was a whole process. It was for like the last 6 weeks coming up to the fight. But I think there's a lot of growing in. Like, there's a lot of room for me to grow into light welter.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any point to cutting down to lightweight. I could do it, but what's the point? Like, I know I'm 19 now. I'm getting bigger. I'm developing. I'm putting on muscle mass. So I'd rather just stay it this way, fight tougher opponents, and then grow into the weight. Like,
yeah, exactly. It sounds like a good plan. And have you sort of thought yet on where your dream fight venue would be? Is it sort of the likes of Madison Square Garden, or are you obviously, we haven't had pro boxing really on a big level in Croke Park, or anything like that? Where would you like to say your dream venue would be to fight?
It's not something like I've always wanted to fight in Madison Square Garden, just over like there's so much history in it. Like, watching Ali and Rocky Marciano and all them fighting it. So that's obviously somewhere I'd love to fight. Vegas, then I'd love to fight as well, because now McGregor, obviously, like, he's like a god he is over there. But I definitely love to get some sort of homecoming, like, even if it wasn't Croke Park, something in Ireland, get a packed out arena full of an Irish crowd, like, that'd be serious, like.
Definitely, the Three Arena obviously is another good venue to have there as well. And what goals and aspirations have you set yourself within the sport? Obviously, we see so many times, obviously, people say I'm going to be a world champion. Sometimes they mean it, sometimes they don't. Obviously, your focus is to become a world champion, or maybe even a multi-weight champion. But what sort of goals have you set yourself just to stay as active as possible and to help you achieve your dreams?
Yeah, listen, obviously, I'm looking to go all the way with it, but yeah, I wouldn't be planning too far ahead. Like, now, like, there's a long road ahead of me. I want to take one fight at a time, kind of. Like, I have a team around me that it pushed me forward and all. Like, so, like, all them doors will open up to me, but I just need to, win my next few fights, obviously, and just improve, just get used to, fighting as a pro now, like.
Yep, exactly, and take it one step at a time. And obviously, we want to just finally touch on obviously the fact that sponsorship, obviously, it's so important in helping you to achieve your dreams. Obviously, you've already touched on Black Fords there, but is there any other sponsors you'd like to thank for obviously coming on board so far, and obviously open up to more sponsors?
Yeah, well, the Fords now would be my only proper sponsor, like, but like, I have a lot of people I would like to thank, like, have Garrett Francis from Kickstart. He does the strength and conditioning with me. He's been doing it since I'm 16, like, and like, you couldn't get a better fella for it. He's top of the ranges, like I've seen some difference with my strength since I started working with him. Then I have Club Chicken. They gave me a dig out with money for medicals and stuff coming up to the fight. Like, which now I needed. Like, I needed that. See, I'm 19 and all the medicals cost a fair bit, like. So that was a big help, that was. And then there's a suit shop in town, Tiffany. They sorted me out with outfits now for my last they sorted me out with a suit going over from the interview with the British boxing boy. And then they sorted me out then with an outfit for the after party at the Forest, like. So that's all the people I'd like to thank.
Definitely, and I'm sure obviously if there's more sponsors, it's as they hear your name more, I'm sure the sponsors will be lining up to get in support. I believe you're not a bad footballer as well.
Me?
Yeah, I heard you're a good goal scorer.
I don't play football. No, I don't play football.
I think Johnny from Irish Boxing was saying that you scored a few goals in your time. I think one of the local teams or something you played for, you'd scored a good few goals.
I've never played football in my life.
He's probably throwing that as a curveball in for me,
Yeah, no, I've never played for a team in my entire life.
So somebody must be saying somebody must be saying you're a decent footballer. Then obviously they build the profile away from boxing as well,
Yeah, I know. There must be a bit of a mix up there.
There definitely must be. But look, well,
No
obviously,
use now as a footballer.
I have 2 left feet myself, so I'll be no good at it either. Obviously, want to
Yeah.
thank you for coming on and having a chat with us. It's been great to obviously get to know a bit more of the story behind the scenes, because sometimes until you fight news, people don't really take an interest. So hopefully anybody who's tuning in can probably
Yeah.
see a bit more of who you are and obviously what you want to achieve in a sport. Obviously, hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not too long before you have more fight news. And I'm sure we'll catch up again at some stage again in the
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Well, listen, thanks very much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks for having me.